How's it going? This is Jason, aka Director Nola, and today this is kind of like so. In 2019, I want to do more streaming. I want to do more streams, more, so I can be more consistent creating content. I really want to build on my channel and kind of get my ideas out there. I don't know who I am. I am Jason B. Holmes, aka Director Nola. I am originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. Uh, I am currently staying in South Korea. Reason being is because during the daytime I serve in the U.S. Air Force, and in my free time I run my business Kimchi Socks, and I also do some other things. But that's why I'm here in South Korea. I'm not here a teacher. No, I'm here working in the military full time during the daytime. And I'm married and we have a beautiful daughter who's 2 years old, and I have an awesome wife who is very supportive in the things that I do. Really appreciate the both of them. But I've been here in South Korea since 2013, going on, wow, yeah, I'm going 9 years so far. And but other countries I've been to, I lived in Japan for 3 years, Azores, Portugal for 15 months. Then I came here to Korea, and I've been living outside the U.S. since 2008. Yep, that's the military sent me overseas in 2008, and I have been overseas ever since then. And being over, let me get into the topic. Being overseas has opened my eyes up. Like you got people who go to college to learn about Asian cultures. You got people who go to college to learn about European culture. You got people who go to college about international business, sociology, and all this and that. Over my 10 years living outside the U.S., I have actually done it firsthand, learned it firsthand, broaden my view on the world, broaden my horizon, maybe mature. Really, being outside the U.S. allowed me to be away from all that white noise and stuff that goes on over in America, and enable me to be able to think clearly and see things for what it for the see the whole board, right? And also interact with other cultures, get tips, see how they do things, like learn on how the Koreans always put Koreans first, learn on how the Japanese always put Japanese first, learn on how even like African Ghanaians put Ghanaians first, learning from these different cultures, taking bits and pieces from each one of them, and like, damn, that's what I want to bring back when I go back to New Orleans one day. After I finish my journey, my travels, go back to New Orleans with a wealth of knowledge that I've taken from the world, and I can bring it back to my city and help build it to be something bigger and better. Um, so yeah, this is my little spill right there. Right. So today we're talking about creating interest-free loan programs in the Black community. Now, some people are like, Jason, you tripping? Why? So let's think about it. One thing when I was studying the Jews, the one thing the Jews don't do. The Jews do not believe in giving um, putting each other in debt. If that makes sense. They don't believe in giving loans with interest to each other. They don't want to. No, they give each other an interest-free loan. Now they would give non-Jews loans with interest, but they won't do that to each other. Because they understand the idea behind like debt, and how putting interest can put people in a deeper hole than they probably don't want to be in. And also now they give each other personal loans. They do give loans, interest-free loans still for businesses too. But they cut this special type of deal where it's okay, hey, you won't pay interest on a loan, but then we go into agreement where a portion of the profits that your business makes, I get a piece of that. But that's not considered interest. That's because, so if your business don't make a profit, nobody gets nothing. But if your business do make a profit, and I gave you this loan, I get a percentage of the profits that we agreed upon in the beginning. So as I stated, I find this very interesting. And I think back to America, Black community. Whereas if you think about in history, a lot of what we see in present day time for a lot of people, families who have wealth, a lot of the wealth that families have in 2018 were due to the fact that their relatives generations back was sometimes given real cheap financing, like some low interest or no interest loans or whatever. If you look at Korea, the way that Samsung and LGs in Korea got built up was because the government gave them grants, the government gave them loans, low interest loans, probably no interest loans. They gave them the financing without having a huge debt to bear with that financing. So when you look at this, and there's other examples like that, it makes sense. So wealth in today's time is built on the fact that the people was giving capital at low to zero interest. So they was just expect that, okay, I'm gonna give you we're gonna give you $100,000, just pay us $100,000 back, no interest. Oh, okay, cool. So what that means, because think about it, when you pay interest, you're taking you I'm paying back what I took and then some. And that then some is that then some on top of the principal is can be, for example, if you're a business, that's a portion of your profits. That's leaving a business. If you're an employee, that's a port. If you work in a job, you're an employee. That then some is a portion of your wages on top of the principal. So when when you're paying back loans with interest, essentially you're paying back what they gave you and then some, right? You and that then some is taken from out is taken more. You already get paid back the principal is taking some from your pocket. Now you're giving the principal plus some, which takes more. So when we decrease that then some to little to nothing, you're only giving back what was initially given to you, and you get to keep anything that you gain from that principal. You know what I'm saying? So the goal is with the interest-free loan program is to create capital for people in our community to use so they can gain more off of what we loaned them without expecting them to give us the principal plus some, right? This is in a sense is like us creating community. It's like charity, and it's not charity. It's community service. We're using our dollar. Hey, look, I'm gonna volunteer my money to you so you can build your business. All right. And then changes, give me back the principal. Don't worry about no interest. You take that 1,000, build yourself up, either get yourself on your feet, get a job, and then when you get a job, paying well, just give me back the principal. Anything that you gain from me putting you on your that money I gave you put on your feet, you keep that and then invest that into building yourself up more. And better yet, and if you can, take a portion of what you just earned and put that towards the pot so more people can be able to get this interest-free loan so they can build themselves up and gain and build that way. So that's the overall idea with this idea that I'm talking about. And let me play this disclaimer: I'm not a financial expert. This and that. I'm just a brother who read and pays attention to how other communities go about building each other up. Right. So going back to it. So here's the idea that I have with this. So, for example, we already have an institution in our Black communities that can essentially be the one that facilitates these loans, that can give them out to the people in the community, right? So the Black church. No, there's no. I took. I don't attend the institution in the church because I have some personal reasons with that because I don't like and agree with the fact of of people of the faith being flashy. That goes against how I see the church being. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, churches are nonprofits. Churches can generate revenue and not pay taxes on it, right? So they are a tool. Not just they're not only are they a spiritual tool for the community, they can be also a financial tool, a physical realm tool for the community. The Black churches, right? If we do it right. So say as though we had a church, right, a Black church, and we go to this pastor or we go to the whoever's in charge of the church. Say, hey, look, we are going to demand for you to take a portion, because keep in mind, when you tithe, that's also a tax write-off. You can write that off your taxes. So, hey, I'm just giving you some tips here. Side note: one of the things that drain wealth is taxes. When flexible. If you look at the wealthy invest money into figuring out how to reduce their tax burden. All right, because the less taxes I pay to the government legally, the more money I keep, then I can invest that to building wealth. Now, Jason, how do you do that? Well, you invest in things. You spend your money in things that the government has stated this is a legal way for you to reduce your taxes in the year because we give you the ability to reduce your taxes if you donate. Oh, okay. So that's why people donate. That's why rich people donate to foundations. That's one reason. Yes, out of the kindness of their heart, but at the same time, they're benefiting from donating the wealth that they made because they can then write that off, reducing their tax burden. And so the less taxes you pay, the more money you keep that you can use. All right, that's the goal. the more money you keep, the more that you can use to invest and build your community, right? So going back to it. So say let me go to the church. Say, hey church, so check this out. We know we've been tired and we tired of 10%, right? We get it. We tired of 10%. And honestly, we want to start seeing the church take a portion of that 10% that we give every Sunday. And we want you to start establishing like an interest-free loan program for people in our community. All right. Now, what kind of interest-free loan program? Now, this is where we talk about. Excuse me. So this is where I'm gonna start talking about how there's power in our economics, group economics power, right there. So you go to the church, you tell the church, hey, look, we want you guys to allocate a portion of the tithes that we are coming, that the congregation is putting into the pulpit. We want that. We want a percentage to go towards creating an interest-free loan program for the congregation members. Now that loan program can be used for buying a home that's in the community around the church, that can go towards starting a business that's in the community that the church is in. It can go towards say like someone just had someone just they just lost their job and they need a little bit of money until they get back on their feet. All right. Or better yet, we can make sure in the beginning, we can say, no, we want to focus on giving out loans to people who's gonna create more jobs. So we can say, hey, we wanted to focus on entrepreneurs in our congregation. We want to give this loan to people in our congregation who wants to start a business, but they can't get money from the bank because the bank ain't giving them no money. But we know because they're in our congregation and we love them, they want our brothers and sisters. We want to create this fund so they can have the way to get capital to start their business. Right now, think about it. This is a different dynamic because say like if I'm an entrepreneur at the church and the pastors say, hey, guess what? We're gonna allocate 25% each month of the tithe into an interest-free loan program for entrepreneurs in our congregation. All right. Okay. So you mean tell me I can get a loan for my business, right? Interest free because I'm a member of this church because I'm tied into, but and this is and when I take this loan, I'm not just taking this loan from anybody. I'm not just taking it's easy to take a loan from the bank because you don't really have no really emotional tie to the bank. But I'm about to take a loan from the church, which is part of the congregation. I now have a social responsibility to the whole church to make sure that, hey, okay, I'm gonna pay this loan back so another member of the congregation can have that money to start their business in the community that surrounds the church. All right. So then over time, what ends up happening, you start having people in the church who become in wealthy. And what happens when they create more income for themselves, they tithe and increase. Right? They're able to give more in time. Their 10% becomes bigger because they took that loan that was interest free from the church, used that to build a business, paid the loan back to the church, and then now that their income is up, their 10% tithe is now increased, and now that's more money going back into the church. Now the church can now have more money to do what the church do to keep the church running and build other programs, but also that pot of money, that interest-free loan pot of money that's been funding entrepreneurs in the church, keeps growing and growing. So right there, that's a simplified example. Yes, there's more to go into it, but that's just something to think about right there on how we can use the institution that's already in the Black community to help us build up the Black community. Like I said, we're already giving 10% every Sunday when you go to the church. You're already giving 10% of your money to the church, right? Then, now here we go. Now, once we got the entrepreneurs going, we can then start figuring out, okay, hey, let's try to see about getting some homeowners in our community going. Why not, Pastor? Let's do that. All right. And hey, now congregation, we've been doing awesome with the loan, the interest-free loans for entrepreneurs in the congregation. We're now going to start allocating some funds for the people who want to be homeowners in the congregation. Oh snap! You mean to tell me, cool? I was all about that entrepreneurship stuff, Pastor, but I'm all about a homeowner stuff. You heard me? All right, cool. Let's make that work. All right, cool, babe. Now, what ends up happening when there's more homeowners in the community? That means that's tax dollars, right? That mean, especially when the people especially when the homeowners in the community actually stay in the community, right? In some of these black communities, a lot of people own our homes. They're not even living there. They live in some other communities. They live in other communities, so they're taking the rental income that we pay them and bringing it to their community, where their church is at, where their schools at, where their hostels at. But now we use this interest-free loan program to help members in the congregation become homeowners. So now they're no longer paying rent to people who own homes in the community that don't live there. They now own it itself, and they paying that. Guess what they're paying the mortgage back to? The church. They're paying the money back to the church. So we're keeping the money in the community. We're combating capital flight. We're combating money leaving the community. We're keeping the money in the community. You feel me? We're keeping money in the community so jobs can be created. So more home ownerships can go. So when you're a homeowner, you take more pride in your property. When you're a business owner in your community, you take more pride in your community. So we're increasing the stake of the congregation, not just the pastor who probably got the BMW and the flossed out suits and they kids doing it good, doing it big. No, we're now all having a shared stake in it. So now when you tie 10%, you like, holy crap! I'm not my tithe is not gonna be a tax write-off for one. Because like I said, it is, you can write it off for your taxes because church is nonprofit. When you tithe, you're tied into a nonprofit. Now on top of that, my tithe is going to the fact where I'm helping entrepreneurs, people who want to be entrepreneurs in the congregation, start a business. And by them starting a business, they can then eventually be able to hire some congregation members to work in their business. They're now also able to increase their tithe, which goes more into the pot of the interest-free loans that the church is now giving out to people who want to be a homeowner, people who want to be a business owner, to people who probably need like a student loan. What'd you say now, Jason? You heard me, right? It's people who need a student loan. Now here's another thing. A lot of us, a lot of black people, we go to college. We are very, very educated, have a lot of degrees. But with those degrees, we have a lot of debt. And when we pay that debt, who are we paying that debt to? To people who not from your community. Right? So even if we're not paying interest on this loan, but even if you get these subsidized loans from the government where it's like almost low interest or no interest, you still paying that principal to another entity that's not in your community. So the money is leaving your community. So even if you do got your fine down degree, you owe somebody else money who's not from your community. So when we owe other people money, who's not from our community, that means we're taking that money from the community and giving it to them people over there. Now you see how like all the church. So here's an example of, and some say, "Oh, Jason, whatever." So when I was attending the University of New Orleans, in my communicate like public speaking class, this Vietnamese girl, she got up and she gave a presentation on how Vietnamese don't trust the banks. Right? She said when Vietnamese people, instead they put their money in the Catholics. So they give their money to the nuns, right? And then whenever people need loans, the people go to the nuns and take out a loan. So right there. So what I'm talking about is been done. People doing it. It's just a matter of us going to the church and I say, hey, look, pastor, we need to redo some things. All right. Like, we're tired of seeing you roll up in your Bentley and your BMW. We're tired of you having brand new suits. We're tired of you bragging about all this flashy shit. No, we don't want that no more. We want to do things differently. All right. So yeah, we're gonna tie because it's our heart, it's our responsibility. But at the same time, this church, we your congregation. Without a congregation, you ain't got no church. So yeah, you got the building, but that's just the building. Church ain't. It's not really church. Remember, the church ain't the building. Church is the congregation, right? So that's how we can create an interest-free loan program in the Black community by using our Black churches that are already positioned in the Black communities. By us going to the pastor or the people who lead and run the church and telling them, hey, look, we want you to figure out how to allocate 25 to 30% of the congregation tithes each month into establishing an interest-free loan program for our members to be able to start or help fund their business. And then once we hit a certain milestone with business owners, then we want you guys to allocate another set of funds to give out loans to people in our church who want to be homeowners in the community. Right? Then once we hit that, so now we got entrepreneurs in the congregation who got businesses in the community. We now have homeowners in the congregation who have homes in the community. We now need to have like loans for education, our grants. I bet we now need to have grants and scholarships for our youth so they can go get degrees in certain fields that we need to have here in the community. We need more doctors in our community. So we need you to start coming out with more grants and scholarships for people to go get their doctor, become a doctor. We need more engineers in our community. So we need y'all to start coming out with grants and programs so we can have more engineers in our community. We need more of this, we need more of that. We need you, the people of the to take care of your congregation. As we tied into the church, we're gonna expect the church not just to take care of our spiritual selves. We need the church also be on the forefront and protecting our community. So that's my 2 cents. Tell me what you think. Tell me you don't hit the. You probably, if you like it, hit the thumbs up. If you don't like it, cool. I understand. But that's all I have for this today. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, or maybe some later this week.